Hi, my name's Tessa Verbal. I'm the Special Projects Assistant to the Vice President and Dean of Admission and Financial Aid, and I would like to welcome you all to our webinar on work study at Reed. I am joined here today by two lovely panelists, Kat Buckspan and Karen Garcia. So if you all wouldn't mind introducing yourselves.
No, not at all. Hi, I'm Kat Buckspan. I am the student work coordinator for the college. So I oversee all on-campus student employment, and in terms of work study, can answer answer questions about the jobs part of work study.
Hi, my name is Karen Garcia. I'm one of the financial aid counselors here at Reed, and I would be a great contact person about if you have any questions about the eligibility of work study or more the money part of work study.
Yeah, so I have a list of some kind of high-level questions that I'm going to start off with, and then towards the end, I'll open it up to all of you present so that you can ask any burning questions you have about work study. So the first question, what is work study?
Yeah, so I'm laughing not because that's a simple question, but because it's just such a common one. Work study is really confusing, and that makes me sad because it's an important part of success for a lot of students in college and at Reed. So the reason work study is so confusing is because if you just Google what's work study, or you have a sibling or a friend who goes to a different school and they tell you how it works at their school, that isn't necessarily correct and true for how it works here at Reed. It varies from institution to institution. So a lot of information out there that while it may be true at a school is not necessarily true at Reed. So I want to get that cleared up. So what is work study? First, we kind of need to talk a little bit about how financial aid works at Reed, because work study is a component of most students' financial aid packages. So here at Reed, hopefully you know that we meet full demonstrated need. And the way that we do that is we take the total cost of attendance, we then subtract what your family is expected to contribute. And then there's usually other things like grants and federal loans. And the other main factor that you'll see in there, the main item, will be work study. And what this is the amount of money that Reed thinks is a reasonable amount for a student to work during school and earn money that they then put towards their financial needs for the academic year. And you don't want to, the way you get this money is by having a job and getting a paycheck, and that money goes into your bank account, and then you have that money to spend. So you don't want to plan to spend that money on like tuition because that bill is due at the beginning of the year. You don't want to plan to spend it on books because you got to buy your books at the beginning of the semester. And with work study, you earn it along the academic year as you have your job and get your paycheck. So what I always kind of use as an example is you want to use it to buy incidental expenses, things that come up that you need throughout the year, like toothpaste. Hopefully everybody uses toothpaste, or if not, you understand that most people do. So, your work study earnings, that's your paycheck that goes into your bank account that you get because you've got a job. And now you have the money you need out of your bank account to buy toothpaste during the year, and other things that arise over the course of the academic year. So that's what it is. And for most students at Reed, it's $2,000 per academic year. And if you have a typical student job on campus, you can earn that from working on campus 4 to 5 hours only while classes are in session during the academic year. So super high level, that's what work study is and how it works.
Yeah. So now that we know what work study is, what's the difference between Reed work study and federal work study?
That is a great question. So the main difference between Reed work study and federal work study is essentially how our office awards it when we put together your financial aid package. So eligibility for federal work study comes from your FAFSA. When you submit your FAFSA and input all your parents and your own information, It'll, if you're eligible for federal work study, that'll be something that we add from the information that we receive on that application and your federal estimated family contribution. Read work study is determined by the information that you put in your CSS profile. So you may be eligible for one, but not be eligible for another. If you have any questions about that eligibility, I would really encourage you to reach out to the financial aid office, either via email at financial.aid@reed.edu or via phone, and we'd be happy to kind of break that eligibility down for you. Aside from that, the really the biggest, there's no significant difference between the federal work study and Reed work study, except for that students that have Reed work study are not able to work in off-campus positions as part of the SEEDS program, whereas federal work study students can. So that's really the main difference. But once again, if you have any further questions about why your eligibility is the way it is, I encourage you to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to connect with you about that.
So how does a work study student find a job?
Yeah, so there's the same way that every other student at Reed does, and there's the special way for new students. So I'll talk about both of those. So the way that everyone on campus finds a job, all students on campus find a job, whether they have work study or not, is through the online portal that we use, which is called Handshake. And students should have received information about Handshake and login information from the Center for Life Beyond Reed, which is essentially Reed's career center, because CLBR uses Handshake for like internships and off-campus employment and like real life jobs after college kinds of things. But we also use it for on-campus employment. So you log into Handshake, you click a little very, very easy to spot little filter button that says on campus, and it shows you all the on-campus job opportunities here at Reed. And for the fall semester, most employers start posting positions kind of late July, early August. And so students can just go on there and apply at will. You know, I highly recommend going on a couple times a week if you're really eager for a job. You know, if you aren't sure if you're qualified for something, go ahead and apply. Like, don't take yourself out of the running, you know, for a position. You never know. And I also recommend not putting all your eggs in one basket. Like, don't just apply to that one job you really want. If employment is important to you and important for your financial success as a student, like, kind of throw your application in for anything that you would do, and then see what happens, you know? So that's the way every student at Reed finds a job on campus. And then there's also the special thing that is only available to new Reed students with work study. And that's the work study job pool. And it is a special pool of jobs that are specifically reserved for new Reedies who have work study, who are finding their first on-campus employment. So that is, students will get an email in early August with information on applying to the work study job pool. You actually apply at the end of orientation week because you need to have your class schedule before you can fill out the application. And the huge benefit of the work study job pool is that you fill out one application and it asks you, you know, your schedule and what you're interested in. You upload your resume, and you are essentially, with that one application, applying to every job in the job pool. So it's not a guarantee of employment, but a lot of new Reedies with work awards every year get their first on-campus job through the job pool. So there's really no reason not to do it if you have work study and are looking for a job. And even if you apply to the jobs pool, still go ahead and apply for jobs on Handshake, because those are going to be separate positions. Jobs in the job pool are just in the pool, and the ones on Handshake are open to any student. Yeah, that's really it.
But what if a student with work study doesn't want a job?
Yeah, that's totally your choice. And there are students every year and every semester who say, you know what, like, the transition to college is enough. I don't need I don't need to overload myself by working as well. And that is totally fine. There's a lot. So this is one of those parts where if you have information about work study from someone at a different school or just the internet, the information may not be accurate. So lots of times people are like, I don't want to work, but what does that mean? Like, am I going to owe the college money? So the answer is no, you are not. So if you decide that I don't want to work on campus, I don't want to earn my work award, that is your choice and your prerogative. And the only negative impact is that there will be less money in your bank account because you're not earning a paycheck. That's really it. So, you going back to my toothpaste analogy from earlier, if you earn your work award, you can, go and buy your Crest or your Colgate or whatever you choose. And in terms of, as far as Reed knows, you should have the right amount of money to be able to do that. If you decide not to have a job, maybe you need to get Sale toothpaste, squeeze out the last little dribbles from the tube because, as far as Reed's calculations, whatever that amount of your work award is, that $2,000, you're going to be underfunded for the academic year by that $2,000. But if that is a choice that you are knowingly making, that's totally fine. Maybe you're just comfortable scrimping a little bit financially. That's cool. Maybe you earned a bunch of money working really hard over the summer. Maybe you have, you got some high school graduation money or something like that. I don't know, that you're going to allocate for that. So whatever works for you financially, that's totally fine, but you don't owe the college money. There's really there's no negative repercussions other than you just have less money in your bank account. And the other thing that sometimes comes up, which is a little bit related, is if students are like, well, what if I want to work off campus? Same thing. Like there's no negative anything that happens because you didn't work on campus and earn your work award. Like all that really matters is that you have the money that you need for the academic year. And if you've earned that through an off-campus job, or if you're just going to scrimp and, kind of get by, that's your choice and that's all totally fine.
And if a student needs help better understanding work study or their financial aid award, who should they contact?
I would definitely advise that you stop by our office first or contact the financial aid office in some way. We're available through a few different channels. So you can send us an email at financial.aid@reed.edu. You can send us a call, call us at 503-777-7223. And then if you go on our website, on the left-hand corner, there's a spot that says connect with us. And you can even schedule a time to meet via Zoom with your counselor or any other counselor that's available during the time that you want. So definitely stop with us first. We can kind of break down what work study is even further if you'd like to, how it affects you specifically with your financial aid award. And depending on your situation, you may have different components of your aid, like an outside scholarship that may or may not influence your work study amount, or a different loan situation. So definitely come in or get in touch with us somehow to get kind of a customized view of how work study interacts with your aid package specifically.
Thank you, Kat and Karen. We've got a couple questions in the chat. The first one is, do I need a resume to apply for jobs? And if so, where can I get help making a resume?
Yeah, that is a great question. So yes, most on-campus positions are going to ask for a resume. The work study job pool application requires that. So the Center for Life Beyond Reed, or CLBR, as we call it here, once you're on campus, all these acronyms will become very common, can help with resumes. So they're Reed's Career Services office. So you can go to their website, centerforlifebeyondreed.com, and they will be able to give you resume help and get that squared away. And that's kind of that's really the first step. Like that's what you can do now before you ever even come on campus, is go ahead and get your resume squared away. And I know a lot of times students are worried because they're like, well, I don't have much to put on there. It's like, yeah, we know that you're a first year college student. That's normal and expected. So don't worry about it. We know that you've done lots of things and it doesn't have to all be paid employment or anything like that. So CLBR folks will be able to help.
And then the next question, can I earn more money than is listed? Will I be like fired after I earned a certain amount?
Oh, that's also a great question. And so that happens at some schools, but not here at Reed. So again, another example of how information out there in the world about work study is not necessarily correct about work study at Reed. So at Reed, even if you earn your work amount, we do not terminate your employment. You can keep working. Some schools, when you earn your work award, yep, like you're done for the year, but not here. You can keep working, and that's totally fine. And like if you choose not to have a job, the only thing that happens is that you've got more money in your bank account in terms as opposed to less. So, you can go to Whole Foods and buy the fanciest tooth whitening toothpaste out there if you want. So, yeah.
And then last question, what happens if I don't get a job? So I guess apply to jobs, but does not get a job.
Oh, yeah. So someone who wants employment, but they don't find a job. So in that situation, reach out to me at studentwork@reed.edu. Let me know, and we'll set up a time to connect, and see what we're able to do. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Don't panic. Reach out for help.
Well, Kat and Karen, we really appreciated you stopping by to kind of explain work study to us. Remember, if you need any help with navigating work study, contact the financial aid office. If you need help finding a job, contact Kat Buckspan in the admission office. It was great to see you all tonight. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you.